This book of chess in the Third Reich and how the game was played, glorified and abused in Nazi Germany, it's a historical work which really covers a big period about chess under a totalitarian country in which there are multiple photographs, more than 100 games, cross tables, everything you want to know about chess in that period and more. It's covered in this book. Now, what I'm going to show you tonight is 3 games from this great tournament that was held in Prague in just before the end of the Nazi regime. The war is nearly ending, things are going bad clearly, but of course for us it's interesting the definition of the players. In some cases they call them rabbits because they don't know how to play well, and the one that arrived last is a woman. The fourth player is obviously Alekhine, that won the tournament. The second is Keres, and we can see also here that 10th is Pacman, the famous Pacman that has written many chess books, right? So, without further ado, I would like to show you game 113 between this Kubanik versus Alekhine. So Kubanik was, I think, a local master, and Alekhine, the world champion. Played in Prague in 1943, round 16. Kubanik plays e4, and Alekhine starts with e5. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, a6, bishop a4, knight f6, castle, d6, bishop takes c6, b takes c6, d4, and here there is knight takes e4, queen e2, f5, protecting the knight, d takes f5, e5, and of course d5, because so the knight is totally protected and is an outpost. Bishop e3, c5, and now there is a dubious move by white, which is c3. Here the author of the book doesn't tell us why it's a dubious move, okay? Bishop e7, and here a mistake, g3, castle, knight e1, e5, and now there is a blunder, and that tells you a lot how strong this player was. He plays f3, and Alekhine plays bishop a6, and here it seems white resigned. So why did white resign? Because once he moves a queen, like here, the other guy takes, and so he has to take back, probably, let's say, and at this point he has to go back like this, probably. So it seems that the white player obviously consider the world champion good enough to convert the material advantage into a win. Now the game 114 is played against this Sucha, that is the only female player, I think, of the tournament. It seems here the author writes, Alekhine toyed mercilessly with the one female player. Why did he do that? Now you will see, because he uses an opening that is kind of very particular. An opening that we don't see often. Also, it probably has been resurrected today in Blitz, because in Blitz they are always trying to surprise the opponent. But in that time, I doubt that they were trying to surprise a female player that finished out of 17 rounds with 1.5. And 1.5 made because she made 3 draws. All the rest of the games were lost. So it must have been terrible for her. Okay, so game 114. Alekhine is white, Sucha is black, Prague 1943, round 5. It's a French defense. So Alekhine plays e4, she plays e6, and here we see queen e2. Here it says Chigorin's eccentric line against the French, played 10 times by him in his 1893 match with Tarash, and in many tournaments as well. For example, Hastings 1895, where he scored 4.5 versus half with it. This seems to be the only time Alekhine used it in serious play. Probably he didn't consider the lady a serious player. Bishop e7, this was Tara's preferred reply. G3, d5, bishop g2, knight f6, d3, and knight c6 is considered dubious. Finally, the author puts a comment, unusual and bad. Yes, why? Because you want to play this, right? You want to try to fight for the center. If you put the knight in front, it doesn't make much sense. By the way, this Chigorin, so-called eccentric opening, in reality is becoming a King's Indian attack, right? So let's see how it continues, just to see. e5, knight d7, knight f3, castle, castle, f6, attacking the center, d4, f takes e5, d takes e5, and rook f7. And now he plays b3. Very interesting. So he wants probably to free the queen from defending this. Let's see. Knight f8. I don't know. She wants maybe to go here with this move and want to develop that. But honestly, it would have made more sense something like this, right? Because you need to develop this, and with knight f8, I don't know when she develops it. But let's see. Bishop b2, knight g6, knight b d2. Okay, and as you can see, white has finished the development. Instead, black has still some problems, right? So queen f8, and now I think the game is instructive. He's not toying with anybody. He's playing chess. c4, because he's fighting for the center now and opening the lines. d takes c4. Knight takes c4. Bishop d7. As you can see, it's not a good way to develop this bishop here. But I don't know, because it's not the right placement. h4 and rook d8 and knight g5. Here it says not bad, but it seems the author prefer a line that goes with h5. Oh, okay. Bishop takes g5, h takes g5, and here there is another mistake by black, which is a queen c5. Why it's a mistake? The author of the book writes pointless. Rook ac1, yeah, so more than pointless is a problem. Because as you can see, now he has to move this queen, right? And he does with queen e7. And here the author writes, it's a woman's prerogative to change her mind. Okay, I don't think so. I think she wasn't a good player, because probably Vera Menchik wouldn't have played in that way, no? So unfortunately, yeah, during the war, 1943, I don't know what they had as resources, right? F4. So here, why we evaluate the position good for white? Because he has a lot of space, the black pieces are cramped, white is the only one that is going to attack. Black doesn't have any chance to attack anything, so clearly it's only a question of when and how white will finish her. Knight f8, bishop a3, boom, fantastic. Queen e8. Black has succeeded in immobilizing her queen entirely. Rook f d1, and here there is a blunder, g6. It says a serious blunder, fatally weakening f6. Okay, so if it's fatally weakening f6, I think maybe there must be a maneuver like knight e4 and knight f6. Yeah, well, let's see what happens. Yeah, but he cannot go any e4 now, yeah, right. So it's knight e3, g4, f6 probably. Yeah, yeah, it seems Alekhine played queen e3, but the maneuver was knight e3, g4 and f6. Yeah, that was logical, to tell you the truth. Okay, so queen e3, a6, knight d2. Okay, so Alekhine has another idea, knight e2, e4, f6, bishop c8, knight e4, knight d7. Okay, now he's challenging f6, so white must do something to remove that defender, right? And he does rook d2, knight e7, and this strangely is not considered a blunder, but loses a pawn, right? So rook takes e7, knight d5. Of course, guys, you can pause the video here and try to find the next move, but again, guys, it's logical. Some moves are logical. The move is rook takes d5, e takes d5, and now, boom, knight d6. This knight d6 is really a problem, is what is called the octopus, right? Because it controls so much of the opponent territory, like 6 squares out of 8. That is scary. And you can find it, I think there was one of the new in chess books that show this kind of powerful outpost. Okay, after knight d6, queen e7, and now there is bishop takes d5. As you can see, black is destroyed, and here luckily black resign. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, the next game that is also important, is perhaps Alekhine's best at Prague 1943. Alekhine is still white, okay? So why is the best? Let me tell you. Garry Kasparov, in My Great Predecessors, gives it a high prize, saying the 50-year-old champion conducted it with great energy and youthful enthusiasm, exploiting the most varied tactical motives in his deeply calculated combinations. So we are going to see Alekhine in beast mode, and we just have to put back the pieces in a second. Notes in quotes preceded by GK are from My Great Predecessors. Those with AAA are not, so AAA is not insurance or the Alcoholic Anonymous, is Alekhine and Skinner and Verhoeven. So practically the author got quotations from different books. Now, guys, I will not tell you which one it is, because I hope that you can buy the book for that. I want just to enjoy the game by Alekhine. This was game 115, Alekhine versus Podgorny, Prague 1943, round 17. This is the last round, right? E4, C5, and C3. The Alapin variation, quite fashionable in the 24th century, but very seldom used by Alekhine. His only other instance in serious play was against Foltis at Prague 1942, which ended in a draw in 27 moves. D5, E takes D5, Queen takes D5, and D4. Knight C6, Knight F3, Bishop G4, Bishop E2, C takes D4, C takes D4, and E6. So practically this could be a kind of French, let's say, or a Caro-Kann, where black has solved the problem of the bad bishop, right? Knight C3, Bishop B4, Castle, and Queen A5. And here there is A3. Here it says, rather overrated by Alekhine, who gave it a double exclam, while Kasparov gave just one. Stockfish at 33 ply rates its or H3 as best. Yeah, but it didn't tell us which Stockfish, because a new version of Stockfish will tell you a different thing. And here it says, but neither move is seen as conferring much advantage. It gives a 0.27. Okay, but the problem here is a different one. It's not that it gives an advantage, it's the idea behind, no, that you must understand. So why A3 is worth a double exclam? Because Alekhine wasn't stupid. He knows that he cannot take, otherwise he loses the rook, right? So what does this mean? And that's what you need to ask yourself in order to better understand the game, and why the Alekhine and Garry Kasparov, two of the best players in the world, gave some exclam as a sign that that is a good move. Now, what do you think black should do here? No? And here you understand even more why A3 was a great move, right? Because now he should have played bishop takes c3. But after bishop takes c3, b takes c3, you understand what should the black play. The right move is knight f6. So the question is, and now you understand why a3 was considered a great move, that queen takes e3 is wrong, you know. And of course, here there is a line that probably was analyzed by Alekhine. The point here is this, that maybe the author has seen this line with the computer, but in that time the computer didn't exist. Now, if the computer didn't exist, you had to be able to evaluate the variation that Alekhine gives. And if you are not a grandmaster level player, probably it becomes a little difficult to evaluate Alekhine variation, right? Why? Because you don't know. And would you able to win a Alekhine? Because guys, you know, they today tell you, oh, yeah, probably Fischer wouldn't be able to withstand Carlsen. Maybe it's true, maybe not. But for sure, Fischer is able to stand 99.9 of the rest of the player. So 99.9% of all the world players are steamrolled by Fischer. And the same is for Alekhine. Alekhine would have steamrolled everybody. And why do I tell you that? Please, let me explain it. Alekhine in 1943. After his recovery from scarlet fever in late January, Alekhine immediately resumed a simul tour. His illness had interrupted, facing usually 35 or more boards at a time. He would give a total of 30 exhibitions in 26 cities, playing 1044 games with a score of plus 858 minus 66 equal 120. Can you imagine? He won 858 games, lost only 66, and draw 120. So this is to tell you how strong Alekhine was, right? Imagine what, 26 cities non-stop, right? Yeah, 26 cities, okay, and non-stop. Okay, so let's now return to our game. He played knight f6, that is not good. Here Garry Kasparov says a natural developing move and a decisive mistake, and we are just at move 10. We are just at move 10. Okay, so let's see how we continue. What would you play in this position and why this is the decisive mistake? Again, guys, you know, people think that they can understand chess because they switch it on the engine. It's not true. If you don't understand what is the meaning of this position here. The meaning is that Podgorny kept the king a little too much in the center. Just a little too much, one move too much. And that gave Alekhine the way to enter. So this is something you can... I never saw this game, but I already understood where it's going, because the king is in the center. And guess what? Next move is d5. And here he says, Garry Kasparov, the opening of a e-file is the keystone of a white attack. And Garry Kasparov really knows about this because he has played a lot of games in which the opponent left the king just a move too late and he totally killed them. E takes d5. And now guys, try to pause the video so you will understand how difficult it is to find the right move without an engine. Because everybody thinks that they understand chess. And they complain saying, oh, freestyle chess, the famous chess 960, oh, is too difficult because you cannot understand what's going on. Yeah, because you are too much habit to use an engine to evaluate the position. And that's the real problem. So the move by Alekhine is this, boom, a takes b4. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? A takes b4. Why? Because it's bringing away the queen, the enemy queen. And here queen takes a1, knight d2. Boom again. Garry Kasparov says every soldier is at his post. The threat of knight b3 forces the exchange of bishops, and the white queen becomes into play with check, creating serious threats to the black king. Bishop takes e2, queen takes e2, check, and now there is knight e7, and here there is a what? It's rook e1, trying to threaten this, right? And of course, here the only way to avoid to be killed is to escape with a castle. But again, what do you think white will play now? Garry Kasparov says the only way of avoiding an immediate rout, the black king escapes, exploiting the fact that the knight is immune to queen takes e7. Why? Because there is rook f e8, and if the queen go back, there is a checkmate there. If the queen takes, it takes back, and so it's great for him, right? So you cannot really take this, great, but you can do something else. Knight b3. After which there is queen e6, queen takes a6, b takes a6, and guess what? Now there is rook takes e7. Great move, huh? Now, of course, let's see what ends up. Rook a b8, and here there is b5. Here they say, now this advance finally prevents the entry of one of the black rooks into the enemy camp. Okay, so let's see. A takes b5, rook takes a7, b4, knight e2, rook f c8, f3, so it takes away the possibility of getting a back rank mate. Rook a8, rook takes, and here there is king f2. Here Garry Kasparov writes, sometimes in the endgame a rook and pawn are even better than two pieces, but this is not such a case. Alekhine's pieces coordinate excellently, and the white king comes into play with decisive effect, whereas its black opponent is forced to observe passively the destruction of its army. So let's see what happens. Knight d7, knight f4, knight b6, king e3, rook c8, king d3, g5, and knight h5. So it says a game more, here black resigned. It says a game more like Alekhine's prime than any others in this or the previous chapter. After the Prague tournament, Alekhine kept up a busy schedule of simultaneous exhibition, 3 in Czech cities, the rest in Berlin, and 11 other German cities. Then came his last major event in the German Reich. In fact, his last important tournament anywhere. It was Salzburg International Tournament, 9 to 18 of June 1943. It seems he tied for first with Keres. And by the way, Keres was also in this previous tournament. He was second, but it was like 2.5 points away from Alekhine. so I was second, but quite behind. Again, guys, this is a great book, research, a lot of historical research. As you can see, the author found 3 different texts to just comment, give you a comment of that game, and then of course he also put Stockfish. And so with all the cross tables, the pictures, if I'm not wrong, the author even bought entire Schachtzeitung magazine to better document himself and then translated them. Clearly, it's a great work that everybody should have in their chess library, not because they have interest in the Third Reich, but because it's part of chess history. And this is the thing, in chess we are really lucky, because as you can see, guys, I just show you 3 games played by Alekhine in more than 80 years ago. And so it's like we have a time machine and we are able to go back and see stuff that we wouldn't be able to see in any other sport. So chess has also this advantage. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and give Taylor Kingston and McFarland a chance, because they have a really beautiful historical work with McFarland. I really like their books, and in fact I have an entire section of my library with McFarland books. I love them. Thank you.